Have you ever walked out of a conversation knowing you said everything you were supposed to, yet somehow you still felt like you lost? That tight feeling in your throat, like every word pulled you further away from your own power? Maybe you spend your life surrounded by loud personalities, people who interrupt, mock, dominate rooms with arrogance they mistake for confidence. And maybe, somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that staying quiet meant you were weak, that not fighting back meant you were surrendering, that staying calm meant you were losing. But what if everything you've been taught about silence is wrong? What if real strength has never been in talking, but in choosing not to? Nietzsche, one of the most misunderstood minds in history, saw something most people are too afraid to acknowledge. Those who talk endlessly expose themselves, and those who rush to convince others are already insecure. We grow up believing we must argue, defend ourselves, explain everything, like every discussion is a battlefield. But nature shows us a different path, a quieter, sharper, far more dangerous kind of power. Silence isn't emptiness, it's presence. Silence confuses people. It shakes them. It forces them to hear their own thoughts. This is for you, the one who walks away feeling invisible, overlooked, misunderstood. The one who tries to keep peace while others misuse your calmness. Maybe you've mistaken your silence for submission, but silence, when understood, becomes a weapon, a victory, the kind of power that doesn't need to step into the ring to win. Today you'll see silence differently, not as holding back, but as the final answer. We feel pressured to respond because we were taught that truth must be defended, that staying quiet means giving up. But Nietzsche believed this reaction comes from fear of looking weak, and from the ego, which cannot handle being challenged. Most people don't argue to find truth. They argue to feel powerful. They argue because their beliefs are fragile, and if someone shakes them, their whole identity starts to crack. As soon as you feel the need to justify yourself, you've already stepped onto their stage. And the moment you crave their understanding, you've already lost ground. Nietzsche called this herd morality, living for approval, validation, acceptance. And living for approval always leads to weakness. Real strength is standing firm even when mocked, criticized, or misunderstood. It's staying centered while everyone else loses control. It's power that grows in silence. The reactive mind is easy to manipulate. The observing mind, the silent mind, is untouchable. But if silence is power, how do you use it? How do you make others feel your presence without speaking? For Nietzsche, the answer was the Übermensch, the one who rises above ordinary morality and leads through self-mastery. The Übermensch doesn't argue. He doesn't play emotional games. He watches, he chooses, he controls. His silence isn't emptiness, it's pressure, it's authority, it's a message without words. Others talk, he sees through them. Others shout, he disarms them with stillness. Others over-explain. He reveals their flaws just by being calm. People fear what they cannot read, and silence is unreadable. Psychologically, silence rattles people. It forces them to face themselves. Most people don't talk to express something. They talk to hide something. And when you go quiet, their mask slips. Studies show silence feels like judgment. The brain panics. The amygdala fires. People begin projecting their insecurities onto you. Is he judging me? Did he catch my lie? Does she see my weakness? And in that panic, they reveal far more than you ever could by speaking. Manipulators hate silence. It breaks their control. Without your reaction, their power collapses. Silence even awakens old emotional wounds. Rejection, abandonment, insecurity. That's why narcissistic people explode when you don't react. Your silence exposes them. But silence is uncomfortable for you too. It goes against what you were taught. Don't justify yourself, don't explain, don't rush to fill the space. But that discomfort is what makes it powerful. Now that you understand what silence does to others, the next step is to use it deliberately, to turn silence into a weapon. 1. Be quiet when your ego begs you to respond. This is the hardest part. But every time you resist the urge to justify yourself, you regain power. 2. Observe. Listen like a hunter listens to the rustle of prey. People expose their fears without realizing it. 3. Let silence last. The longer the pause, the more pressure builds. People will reveal everything just to escape the tension. 4. Become unpredictable. When people can't predict your reactions, they lose their leverage. This isn't passivity, this is controlled presence. When the right moment comes, one single sentence from you will carry more weight than 100 from them. But there's another side to this. Silence can also become a prison. When you stay quiet, not out of power, but out of fear. When you avoid conflict because you've been conditioned to think your voice doesn't matter. People take advantage of this kind of silence. They fill the space you refuse to claim. They shape your life for you, while you convince yourself that avoiding conflict is maturity. Nietzsche called this slave morality, the mindset that teaches you to shrink yourself and call it goodness. This silence must die. You must replace it with the silence of presence, the silence of someone who knows their worth, who does not apologize for existing. Finally, true silence. The silence of the Übermensch is the silence of mastery, not silence that hides fear, silence that declares strength. Look at your life. How many times have you stayed quiet because you didn't want to upset anyone? How many times did you let others speak over you, choose for you, define you? Enough. From today on, let your silence be authority, not avoidance. A boundary, not a retreat. Because who you are does not need to be explained. It needs to be lived. If you choose this path, if you choose the silence that commands respect, then say it clearly. I choose the silence that shows strength.